You are listening to All Burgundy and Go, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Your host are myself, Wole, and the homie Ray Jeezy. The homies Glen. I think Mo may be a little late, but they're not on right now. But what's going on, Ray?
I'm back, homie.
I'm glad to have you
OTAs.
on,
I'm
man.
excited. Can't you see the excitement on my face about OTAs? I'm can't wait to talk about it.
Oh, actually, you know what? My man Mo is here. What's on, Mo? What's going on, homie?
Oh, Mo
What's
made
going
it.
on,
Let's go,
family?
Mo.
Hey, Ray Jeezy's back.
Most
Yeah, man.
definitely.
Ray is ultra excited about OTAs. Can't you
OTAs. This is what
tell?
championships are won right here. And
I know they
OTAs.
won in
It
OTAs,
starts
man.
now.
We here. You know what I'm
Everybody's
saying?
0-0. Everybody's undefeated right now, including the Commanders. Let's go.
You better
Hey,
leave
man.
Wole alone, man.
Raise hell. Let's go.
Hey, you petty. Hey, you real petty. Hey, before we get
Mo,
into
you got a
what we
Twitter
hear,
hat on, bro? What is that?
Malcolm X, man. Malcolm X.
Oh.
By any means necessary, baby.
all right, man. Before we get to our show topic, hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG underscore everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG underscore everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button, like this video. All right, man. Let me introduce our guest, man. One of the coolest dudes in the game. Ray talked about OTAs, so we're gonna talk about OTAs right now. We have Emmy award-winning sports personality and Holder Sports own Lou Holder. What's going on, Lou? And welcome back, man.
What's up, fellas? It's good to be on. Good to be back with the fellas, man. It's good to see your faces, man.
Good. Hey, see, Lou, you can't say I don't be trying to invite you. Now you know, like you're part of the fam. You know this, Lou.
All right.
You know this.
But hey, I'm glad I'm on by any means necessary.
Hey, man. There it is.
Hey, Lou, I meant to tell you I finally saw the Bob Marley flick. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was good. It was good. Just a little snippet and portion of his life, but it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, to be honest with you.
I like to hear Lou say everything. That makes me just feel warm inside, man. All the time. I love when Lou says it, bro. That's my
it life is about everything.
I love it.
You gotta have everything working for it.
Yeah, I love it.
You can't have some of it working. You gotta have everything working.
All right, anyway, let's get what we came to talk about because Ray is so excited about it. The Commanders OTA started a little bit. It started last week and it's still going on. Lou, you've been in attendance. First off, let's start with him. Is Jaden Daniels looking like him in OTAs?
So I'll preface it by saying that, you know what, I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, quarterbacks that we've had in here, notable quarterbacks. Not everybody's been on the same page. The notable quarterbacks, not everybody's been on the same page. When I mean everybody on the same page, I'm talking about the owner, the GM, the head coach, and the offensive coordinator. I mean, if you go back, obviously we knew that wasn't the case with Sam. We knew that wasn't the case with Kirk Cousins. We knew that wasn't the case with Robert Griffin III. We knew that wasn't the case with Dwayne Haskins. We knew that wasn't the case with the last quarterback to wear number 5 with Donovan McNabb. That just, anytime I just think about a notable quarterback, you know, in the Dan Snyder era, not everybody, all 4 of those people are on the same page.
True,
this is the first time that I could actually say that the owner, the GM, the head coach, and the offensive coordinator all wanted the same guy. You know, so it starts there that you already have the backing of everybody. And fellas, he passes all the eye tests. Today I saw him make a throw to Jahan Dotson that was just, I mean, it was a pro throw. Now, obviously, ain't nobody at his feet. There wasn't anybody trash at his feet like Kirk Cousins would say. Or I mean, it is May. But you got to be able to say that ball comes out nice. It's there. And then when you hear Jonathan Allen at the end telling the media that he prides himself in being first into the facility every day, and Jaden Daniels is already there.
Wow.
I mean, that's like the talent and now the want to be the leader and great coming together. So I don't see how Marcus Mariota or anybody else is going to be able to keep the trend of this guy starting and this guy being a first-year starter in this NFL. I don't see how that's going to not happen. So that's good to know that everybody's on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Guy can actually play.
How's Mariota look?
I mean, he looks like he looks like a guy who understands his role. Okay. Right? He actually was very transparent and said he made a lot of mistakes in his career, which I actually appreciate. You know, people who say that, hey, look, he came here knowing that what his role was going to be. And he came here knowing that this team was going to have the number 2 pick overall. But he also came in here because he knew of Dan Quinn. He knew of some of the coaches, Anthony Lynn. He knew of a lot of these coaches here. He knew of Adam Peters. So, I mean, he's not from this coast. He's from the West Coast, right? So to come all the way over here and to have this chance with this organization, he kind of knew what his role was going to be here. So that's how I feel. I feel that he is actually settling into his role. But I'll be honest with you guys. If we see more Marcus Mariota than Jaden Daniels, something went really wrong.
Yeah, he's a problem. Really it would be a real problem.
This guy should be the starter.
Oh, he looks 10 times better than Mariota. He looks 10 times better than Mariota.
I mean, right now he does, but I mean, again, Mariota, they're all learning stuff. I mean, I have a hard time getting too excited because it ain't even training camp yet. It's May. Everybody's getting an install. Everybody's being installed at the same time. It's all new for everybody, which is also a good thing that everybody's starting from ground zero. And Dan Quinn said it today. They're not even worried about depth charts right now. Now, we know that there's a depth chart in Dan Quinn's office right now.
Yeah, of course.
Right now, to the media and everybody, they're just trying to install everything to everybody. And then when training camp comes, then you're going to start seeing the depth chart.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Hey, Mo, you next?
So, Lou, man, I saw that throw by Jaden Daniels earlier, too. I put it in every single group chat. I was like, that was a throw. That was a throw. So I'm with you on that one. And, all the other things that they've been showing us with him just throwing it into the little quarterback, what they call it, the little accuracy net. And just seeing it come out of his hand, it's been quite impressive. So outside of him, though, outside of Jaden Daniels, who everybody, I'm sure, eyes was on and everybody expected to have a great OTA, some great OTA practices, what rookie not named Jaden Daniels has been the most impressive?
I mean, for me, it's Ben Sinnott for me. I think that he is going to be the closest thing to Chris Cooley that this organization has had in a long time. So I'm not saying he's going to be Chris Cooley, but I'm saying that in this offense where the offensive line is still to be determined, you're going to need extra blockers to help out Jaden Daniels, right? So that's what Eckler was brought in here. Austin Eckler was brought in here for, to make sure that you have an extra layer of blocking and to help out in the run game. To me, coming in, because I was so interested in getting someone like that and thought that, tight ends before that would end up being something like that. To me, that's who I've been looking at. Now, obviously, Mikey Sanders still is another one that I think is really, really high up on my list. And then Jordan McGee from Temple. Yeah. I think he's going to turn some heads. I think he's really, really going to turn some heads in that defensive game. So those are some of the early on people that have caught my eye that are not named Jaden Daniels. And then obviously, I think that Brandon Coleman's going to be starting on this offensive line.
Really, you think so? Playing tackle?
Yeah. Wherever.
He's multiple. Remember
wherever he's multiple. I mean, I've seen him out there. He's taking some reps Looks like he's up against some number ones, whatever. Again, there's no depth chart or whatever. Yeah. But Adam Peters and Dan Quinn saw something in him, and I think that he's going to be on that offensive line somewhere. I can't put it. I don't know if it's tackle. Don't know if it's guard. It's too early to define. But there's no way that he's not going to be playing. He was just drafted too high. And everybody knew that they needed to address that offensive line. And I don't think that they're done. The great thing about all of this is Adam Peters is running the show. And a lot of these free agents that they got, a lot of these people that they got on 1-year deals. Right? I mean, and there's cap space left. You know, so you can go ahead, and if something doesn't work out with somebody in training camp and another person's training camp, and then they fall to you, you can have some room to maneuver. So that's the good thing. They didn't spend everything, which is what good fiscally responsible adult in the room front offices do, right? So everything wasn't spent on contracts. Everything wasn't spent on they didn't trade up. They didn't do anything crazy that was going to mortgage the future of the franchise. It was just a win all the way around before we even get to training camp, guys. Let's just celebrate the fact that the number one pick in the offseason wasn't a player. It was Adam Peters.
Hey, Lou, what you're saying is music to Wole's ears right now. When I asked that question about the rookies, the first name you said was Ben Sinnott. Like, if there was a draft pick that he was impressed with, it was Ben Sinnott. And then you said McGee. Yeah, Wole was the first person that told me that this kid could possibly be a future Mike linebacker in this league, and talking about the impact that he had based off what he saw on tape. So you said a lot of things that's making Wole sound prophetic over there. And I was about to get to your point about it being adults in the room based off how the offseason went and whatnot. I have one more question in terms of the rookies, because there was one noticeable name that you did not say that's probably gonna put another smile on Wole's face. What about McCaffrey? What did we see out of him?
So I see Justin Edelman.
Julian Edelman?
Julian Edelman. I see insert every crafty.
I know you're going to say, go ahead, just say it.
Any crafty white boy that Tom Brady, insert that there. I just think that he's one of those safety valves that is going to he's going to insert himself. They're Wes Welker, right? Danny Amendola, right? You throwing any of those right there, and that's what I see with McCaffrey.
Lou, you're amazing, man. I knew if I soft pitched that, you was going to knock it out the park. So
any crafty crafty in New England over the last 25 years that Brady was thrown to, that's what I see here. Another short weapon for Jaden Daniels. And you mentioned something. You mentioned that the pass that was thrown today from Jaden Daniels. Let's celebrate the person who caught the pass, right? Mm-hmm. Jahan Dotson, who first year was pretty respectable.
Yeah.
Second year, he's on a milk carton box. Can't find him anywhere, right? Yeah. You start to see now that this quarterback is going to start raising the levels of a lot of people. And I have to celebrate the catch by Jahan Dotson just as much as I have to celebrate the throw by Jaden Daniels. Jahan Dotson looks like he's going to be resurgent. Terry's going to give you what Terry's going to give you. So, again, I'm going to tell you, and we all have talked about it since the end of the season, that wasn't a 4-win team. That team had way more talent than only win 4 games. So a lot of it was coaching. Mm-hmm. So now if they're going to be coached up differently and the energy is there, and you see people are just being it's like a breath of fresh air. right? People feel like it's just, and it should be. There's all new people. It's not some people. It's all new people at the top, right? So I'm just looking at a lot of weapons. A lot of weapons. We wanted competition, and you got it. There's competition everywhere.
Speaking of a lot of weapons and new people, in your opinion, which rookie undrafted free agent will compete for a roster spot that most listeners out there?
Oh, that undrafted guy from the Georgia, the wide receiver, Marcus Rosemead, Jack Saint.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
Yeah,
It's him, and then everybody else. That guy is going to make this team.
Wow,
he's going to make this team. He's that good. First day out, he had this OBJ type of catch, and we were just like, all right. I don't know how you go undrafted playing wide receiver at Georgia, but hey, look, Adam Peters found him. Here we go. He's finding gems. He's finding gems, and this guy, he's going to make this team. He's going to make this team. I'd be surprised if he's not on the team or the practice squad or whatever. I just don't see him not being valuable, knowing he's coming from the Georgia program, SEC, and knowing that he's already been making some memorable catches, and you just have to know where is he going to be on special teams? Is he going to be a situational down? He's someone to watch. So if you're talking about undrafted free agents, that's the guy for me.
He's been that consistent. I mean, he's been making that many plays. I mean, I've seen the one-handed catch. He's made that many plays.
I mean, it's not all the plays he's making, it's just how he's impressing with the coaches.
Okay.
So, I mean, we only get to see a certain part of practice.
Got you. Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, we only get to film even less.
Yeah.
So it's in the meeting rooms and everything like that. But you can read body language, like when Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury are spending time talking to people. You kind of pick it up that, okay, wow, they're talking to him because they feel that they can coach this person. And I just, if you asked anybody in the media corps that's been out there over the last couple of practices, and you ask them that same question that you just asked me, the same person's going to come up to the top of undrafted free agents.
Wow.
Just the undrafted free agents that you asked me. I think that his name is going to come to the top as something that, you know what, you can work with that talent.
That's what's up.
When Mo first started coming on the show, he used to call me bullish. And I'm getting that vibe from you now, Lou. I love the positivity, though. It is OTAs. Let me caution you, But I can see you at camp now. You see Adam Peters, you like, hey, I love you, bro. Like, I appreciate you. And it looks good. And it looks so good that Jonathan Allen said that he just feels reinvigorated. Do you get that vibe that all the veterans feel like this is just a brand new chapter for the Commanders with all the changes?
Let me tell you this. OTAs are voluntary right now. Everybody is there. Everybody is there. Came back from camp today, came back from OTAs, turned on the TV, and ESPN at the top of their thing, they're talking about all the people that are not in camp, the wide receivers that aren't there, people that are not there, from Brandon Ayuk to Jefferson to all these people who are not there. How many times, guys, over the last couple of years have we been talking about, is Chase going to be there? Is Sweat going to be there? When are they going to show up? Is somebody, whatever. There's none of that. None of that. We're actually talking about football, and we're talking about a perfect 100% attendance from veterans before they have to show up for this mandatory veteran minicamp in a couple of weeks. Everybody's already there. There's no contracts that need to be worried about. There's no holdouts or anything like that. And there is no there's a thirst and a desire to get back to work. That's all you need. That's all you need to know. Your captains are there. Everybody is excited about being there. Not just Jonathan Allen. I mean, everybody's excited to be there because look who else is coming in there. Bobby Wagner, Luvu, all these other people that are coming in. It's just like, hey, look, you need to raise your level, son. son. You need. Hey, listen. You need to raise everything.
Let's go.
Let's go, Lou. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
So,
But I caution you. I caution you that again. We all know in the NFL you got to catch a little bit of luck, and you got to be. Those injuries pop up. It's again. The Adam Peters, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, their first year together, it was a little dicey in San Francisco. It wasn't until their second and third year where they started, really coming together. So I caution everybody to think that this team is going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, but I will say this, it ain't going to be no stupidity on the field.
That's the most important thing. That's the most.
I mean, if you lose, you're going to lose because you lost on that day. It ain't going to be because you did dumb stuff and clock management and people weren't in the right position. And where the heck was Jahan Dotson? And how come Terry didn't touch the ball until the third quarter? And how come Brian Robinson's not running the ball or touching the ball more? You're not going to hear any of that this year, right? Yeah. I mean, now you had Eric Bieniemy come in and you had a newness in the offense, whatever, but this is a totally different thing. People were talking about that last year. Oh, Eric Bieniemy's yelling at the guys too much. None of that is going on right now. We're actually talking about football, installing an offense and installing a culture, installing a defense. And I think that is the big thing that's getting people excited, or not excited, appreciative that know football, is that for years we've been sold this changing of a culture Kool-Aid, right? And it never happened. Here, you can actually see the culture being changed day after day after day. Just things that are going on. The facility looks different. They're remodeling stuff. I mean, everything is looking different out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of coaches, speaking of culture, like, what is the feel like? I mean, we heard John Allen speak about it being reinvigorating for him being a long-time veteran for the team. What is the feel of the new staff at OTAs right now? Like, what the vibe? What vibes are they giving off to even someone like you?
Oh, it's the energy. I mean, they start off practicing, man. All these coaches, they're like madmen out there. Like to get things started, it's like, you would walk out there and before, and you would see a couple of coaches, but everybody, they have this drill where everybody's running around. It's like a mosh pit out there. Everybody's running around. First, we saw it with the rookies, right? And we was like, whoa, I haven't seen that much energy in like 4 or 5 years, right? Then you're thinking, was this just for the rookies? Well, now at OTAs, you seeing it again. Like, everybody's running around. There's the energy with all of these coaches. And mind you now, a lot of these guys, we're not just talking about Cliff Kingsbury and Witt. Look at all the other coaches that they got. They got Anthony Lynn. That was a huge get for them, right? They got Brian Johnson from out of Philly. I mean, there's a lot of experience there, and all of this. You got to relate to these players. So I think that the vibe that I'm getting is energy, 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 and everything is crisp, fellas. There's every moment of practice is being used. There's no, slacking off or whatever. I mean, they had 2-minute drills, and somebody was late in the 2-minute drill. Dan Quinn got in that behind. He got in that behind. Like, look, it's May, but we getting it, So he's installing, and the people who are not on for the install, they gonna be in a world of hurt because this train is moving on.
So, hey, Lou, to piggyback on Mo's question, which coach would be, in terms of all that energy, what coach stands out to you with all that energy? Like, stands out to be like, that's that person that just like drives his unit. Like, which coach is that? Which one?
All of them. I can't put it. I can't
put one. Okay.
I can't. I've only been to from the limited time that I've seen. I've gone to each position group, and I can't think of a unit where that hasn't been matched. With the connecting to the players of that particular unit. So I just feel it all the way around. I will say this though, fellas, that this was interesting, something to watch here. That I'm gonna put out there. I'm still a little leery about Emmanuel Forbes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I don't. They talked about Dan Quinn talked about him possibly in the return game.
I heard it.
Right.
Okay.
Returning kicks and stuff like that. I don't know if I see that because I mean you need to be like Brian Mitchell returning kicks like that. I mean he's still a
skinny.
year later, man. He's still a little wiry, like his ankles and whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying that's something to watch. That's something to watch because I don't know with the Benjamin St. Juste, the Michael, the guy, the free agent that they got. I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I haven't seen enough to say that. Oh, you know what? Last year was just it was an isolated thing, and you're not going to have any type of concern about Emmanuel Forbes. This is something I'm just throwing out there now on May 22nd. Let's watch that. Let's watch that as a collective everything unit. Let's watch Emmanuel Forbes and see how they work him in to whatever they're going to be doing, what packages they're going to have him in. Is he actually going to be returning kicks? Because
I hope not.
He did return 6 interceptions to the house when he was in college. So maybe that's what Dan Quinn is saying. But I'll be watching that. That's one position I'm going to be watching is the secondary.
Is it secondary?
I'm watching linebacker.
Huh?
I'm watching linebacker.
I mean, I'll be watching that, but not for concern. I'm not concerned as much about the linebackers anymore because of 2 words: Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, and everybody. That's the one.
We heard him speak today, and I'm more solidified that out of all the free agents that they brought in, that is at the top of the list for me, the most important free agent that they brought in here.
That's what I want to see, definitely.
Glenn,
and Norton.
Glenn, you got something you want to add? Glenn, you got something?
Yeah, I've been Bobby Wagner for like 2 years now since he was a free agent last time. Because he brings leadership. Mm-hmm. He brings leadership to the organization, and he's not a quiet guy. And brings experience. He played on championship teams. He knows what it takes to be a champion, and he helps the younger linebackers like a Jamin Davis and those guys become a little bit better. And he can share some of his wisdom and experience and his experience. That room, that linebacker room, is much better. It's much better. I leave it like that. I'm always in favor of colored linebackers anyway. So,
well, I mean, not just the linebacker, the whole defense. Mm-hmm. Like when you come in, not that the captaincies weren't well deserved, because I mean, all those guys that were captains a couple of years ago, they were all in the Pro Bowl and things of that nature. When Bobby Wagner, with his pedigree, 13 years in the league, and he comes in there with a Super Bowl and the Legion of Boom and everything like that, when he comes in, he's already the captain of the team, right? I mean, he's going to be wearing the green dot, right? He's going to be doing all that. I mean, he commands so much respect just by the way he carries himself. And he's not even resting in his laurels. He's there early in the morning, right? Like, so Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne and everybody who was there on defense, they all like bowing down, like, hey, look, let you got it. I mean, we're going to follow you. We're going to follow you. And I think that is huge for an entire defensive unit. Now, obviously, I hope he's not in a lot of third and, where he's got to run around and chase around a bunch of tight ends and stuff like that. But, I mean, setting up defenses, calling out the plays where we know who was doing that last year. There was a couple of games where you're just like, man, if you had somebody to organize that defense a little better, you would have won probably both those Giants games.
If you had somebody tougher than Cody Barton, yeah.
Right. I was about to say, Lou, to your point, I think this is the first time that John Allen and Daron Payne, each being a captain before, can look behind them and know that they have a quality player right behind them, or someone is regarded as better than them. Yes. I think that alone is going to garner that respect. And not to mention that Bobby Wagner just happened to lead the league in tackles last year with 180 plus tackles in his 12th season, like as if he was still a young boy out there. So with what he's going to have in front of him, I think they should both feed off of each other. Even with some of his now woes in coverage because he's a little bit older and longer in the tooth. But I think that it's a good mesh right there, especially at that little triangle point between the D tackles and the middle backer.
Right. I see London Fletcher all over again.
Ooh-wee.
I see London Fletcher all over again, coming to a place, still having a lot of stuff left in the tank, and being London Fletcher did pretty well here.
Oh yeah,
Still didn't miss a game. Tackling machine. I see the same thing with Bobby Wagner. That instant, respect, stabilization there in the middle. Like you said, I just feel that you're definitely right when you mentioned that. That was besides the fact that they played at Alabama and lost maybe like 3 games in their entire career, right? To come to Washington and lose all those games. Beside all that, you're absolutely right. To look behind you now as a pro and know that you have somebody who is organizing stuff behind you. Yeah, definitely. There is a mental component there that makes you even more invigorated to come to work because you now have an entire defensive unit that's working on all cylinders with a very, very good captain with wearing that green dot behind you.
So, Luke, before we let you go, I do want to go back to something you said about Emmanuel Forbes because I think this is gonna be a bounce back year for him. But I do kind of want to go into like the coaching with him. Arguably you had some of the worst. You probably had some of the worst coaching last year for a rookie. And now he's in a situation where I feel like, you talked about the staff and the energy they bring and they provide, especially for a young dude. When you're teaching young men, that energy is very important. You know what I mean? To kind of get them hype and amped to going into their NFL careers. How impactful do you feel like this coaching staff will have on that young man in terms of playing defense the way folks wanted him to play defense?
I mean, it's going to be impactful. But I don't think this staff didn't draft him.
Okay.
This staff didn't draft him. This staff don't owe him nothing.
True.
Michael Davis was brought in here for a reason. Benjamin St. Juste is probably going to raise his level. Mikey Sanders still. I mean, all these people are going to raise their levels. Yeah. Emmanuel Forbes, coaching and no coaching or whatever. I mean, nobody's assured anything here.
I agree with that. That I do agree with.
I actually believe that nobody is assured anything here. I mean, obviously, you're going to have people that they're going to give shots to. This team, this coach didn't draft any of these. I mean, the veteran, the people that are here before.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
I'm not talking about the new people that they handpicked.
Yeah,
I'm talking about everybody that was on their roster. You see how many people that they got rid of, right? Exactly. These are the ones that they sat in the room and say, you know what? We can work with these people to start and let's see what happens, right? I don't care if they were the number one. I mean, because you look at all of Ron Rivera's picks, Chase Young, Jahan Dotson, Jamin Davis, Emmanuel Forbes. Dan Quinn ain't married to any of them. He's not married to any of them. Cliff Kingsbury's not married to any of those. Witt is not married to any of those people. So I mean, and I like that. I like that there is nobody who is just like, yo, you know what? You're in, right? Everybody's out there competing. And I do hope. I feel bad. I feel bad that the way he was coached. Similar, I would feel bad the way that Jahan Dotson was coached in his second year.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel bad the way Cole Turner, the tight end, was used.
I agree.
I feel bad for a lot of people. I feel bad. I got to get this out. I got to get everything out, right?
Get everything out.
I feel bad that Jacoby Brissett was not the starting quarterback the entire year. This team would have looked totally different if he was the quarterback, but I got to move on.
But hold on, Luke.
I got to move on. And
question on that part, Luke. Question is, if Jacoby Brissett would have quarterbacked the whole year, that means Ron Rivera and staff probably would have stayed.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
He would have won more games.
It
Not
just wouldn't have been
necessarily
those.
because, not necessarily because we all knew that Josh Harris was going to. I mean, that wasn't his guy. You know, the quarterback would have won them more games. But you know what? It is what it is because of that, they traded away Chase and they traded away Montez. They got all that draft capital. And honestly, if you're thinking about all things working together, I think that's what probably lured Adam Peters to come here in the first place, that he had all those picks and all that draft capital. So I guess they had to suck. I actually, you know what? Now that I actually you have to give Josh Harris and all those people a lot of credit. You really, really do, because they got this team 2 weeks before training camp started, or a week before training camp started. Yeah. And guys, they had to sit there the entire year and take that. They had to take it. They had to take all of it. They stunk. They had to take it. And it took a lot of maturity for them not to make a knee-jerk move.
True, not to fire coach. Yeah.
I mean, there were so many times, I'm sure, that Josh Harris, who spent $6 billion for that franchise, and to see everything, the Miami game, the Chicago game, and to see that and be like, and to sit there and to let all of that transpire so they can get to this side of it, man, I give him, I give Mark Ein, I give Mitch Rales, I give Magic Johnson, I give all of them a lot of credit for sitting there and taking it all the time. I mean, every 4 wins, and now they're getting to an actual year runway with their coach. Again, this is the rarity in sports. This rarely happens because of the but rarely does a new owner get to pick his own GM, and the new GM gets to pick his own head coach, and the own head coach gets to pick his offensive and defensive coordinators. Usually one of those parts are already in place and the others are coming in. Everybody's starting around the same time, which is a rarity in the NFL, and that's what makes this so exciting. There is no, well, he was already here. Well, this system was already in place. Well, this player was already in place. None of that. The number 2 pick was picked because the offensive coordinator has worked with quarterbacks like that. Dan Quinn, he is so happy to be a head coach again because he wants to teach. He wants to be able to, he's relishing this second chance to be this head coach again. And then the people that he's brought in, man, everybody's talking about how Dan Quinn is this player's coach. Man, you're starting to see it. They got the guy. That is going to work for this new reboot. And he's on the same page with Adam Peters. And again, they're handling the football. This is the best part of the whole thing, guys. They're handling the football side of it, and Josh Harris and his team are handling the other side of it, right? And the other side of it is the optics and the actual regional impact that this franchise once had that has been thrown away, right? How brilliant and how great was it, the very first move of their first NFL draft, the very first thing they did before they selected anybody was retire Darrell Green's number.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I mean, that is perfect. There's a stroke of genius to pay honor to one of the best who's ever played in the league, right? And then have him go there and announce the picks as well. I mean, that's a part of this. That's a part of what's making people excited as well, is not just the football part of it, is that they're going to be doing more of that stuff that should have been done. How in the world, under the old ownership, after Darrell Green and Art Monk got inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, how is his number not retired? I love Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor's 21 needed to be retired, but not over Darrell Green.
I agree.
Man, boy,
not over Darrell Green, not over John Riggins, not over the way that was done was just so poorly done, and we can rehash the statue that they have and how they did that and everything like that. the way they did this thing with Daryl Green, guys, I want you to take into consideration the optics. Now you know, and you have a whole summer to prepare. Now that the schedule's out, they're going to start maybe saying when is going to be that game where you can come and honor Daryl Green. That's the way you did it. That's the way you do it. We found out about the Sean Taylor thing like 2 weeks before, right? It wasn't it wasn't in the summertime where you said, you know what, on week 13, we're going to retire Sean Taylor's number. No, this was like one of those things that was done in season. That's how you know it wasn't put together right. This is done.
Yeah, it was.
That's
what
excites me, that the football people are taking care of the football stuff, and the owners are taking care of the regional impact that has slowly been poured out over the years. Daryl Green said that. Those are his words, not mine. The impact that this team had has slowly been poured out, and now it's time to get it back. And when Daryl Green, who's been missing from this franchise for the longest time, when he says the words, "I'm back," man, for all those people, that's bridging all those people to come back into the fold, right? And that's just as exciting to me as Jaden Daniels throwing passes in May.
Well, Lou, hopefully, like, it brings back the fanfare that this organization used to have. So before we want to close the show out, before we let you go, man, how can folks catch your content on YouTube and also on all other social media platforms?
Man, on Holder Sports, I got the Holder Hangout.
Yep.
And anybody out there, man, you can catch me on Burgundy and Gold or everything. That's where you can catch me. Anytime I'm invited, that's where you can catch me.
Hey, you're invited. You know what time it is. See,
cool,
Lou,
man.
we're here now, right? Lou, we're here now, right?
No, it's going to be exciting. Again, they have another week of voluntary OTA sessions, and then in a couple of weeks, it's the mandatory veteran mini camp. But everybody, it's like mandatory now. Everybody's there, right?
Mm-hmm. And they should be there too.
And
that's the exciting part
they should, but it hasn't always been that way, and that's
right.
That's why it's good when you look up and you see that everybody on the sheet that they give us this sheet, right, of all the people there, and everybody's there. I mean, I actually, you know what? Let me throw in one more thing. I'm actually really excited. He's hurt right now, but I'm excited to see Johnny Newton.
Yeah, everybody is.
I'm excited to see Johnny Newton, because it's like you got rid of Chase and you got rid of Montez. You need a new dog in there to keep Payne and Allen fresh, right? Yeah. And this guy, I don't know how many Big Ten games you all watched, but that guy's a problem.
He's a serious problem.
He's a problem.
Serious problem.
He's a problem. I mean, that foot is going to heal up. He's going to be fine. He's a problem. He's going to be a problem. So that, along with Louvu and Wagner and Mikey Sanderstrill and McGee, this defense just looks totally different. And Hat's going to be flying to that ball, I'm telling you.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait to preseason. That's why I start really paying attention.
And they're going down to play Miami in some practices too.
That's what I like. I like stuff like that. I like competition. I don't like
Commanders on the hard. Put Commanders on Hard Knocks.
No, that would never happen.
I know, man. I know
that would never happen. It shouldn't happen. Hard Knocks is for
happen eventually, though. It's gonna happen.
Hard Knocks is for people who want attention. This team already has attention.
That's true.
So I hope that the Burgundy and Gold is never on Hard Knocks, because
sorry, Lou, that's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen eventually. It's gonna happen eventually. Not this year. Obviously not this year. It's gonna happen eventually. It has to. Every team has to do it.
Is that the case? I don't have that intel. Every team
I believe every team has to do it eventually. Like, every team has to do it eventually. I could be wrong, but I swore every team had to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
So they just been the Commanders just haven't been one of those teams that really wanted to do it. But yeah, eventually.
I guess. I mean, I don't.
Didn't they do that season Hard Knocks as well?
Huh?
Yeah.
Last year they did
Hard Knocks. They're doing that now. They're doing that now. That's part of the theme now. They're doing end season ones too.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because Miami was in it.
Yeah, they're doing end season ones.
Miami was in it, and they actually remember that celebration that Tariq Hill did when they were all doing the robo. That was on part of one of their Hard Knocks.
Exactly.
They showed it how during the season they were going to practice that celebration, and they did that celebation on Washington.
On a Ron Rivera coach Washington.
They did it on Washington, Ron Rivera.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, we're going to close the show out. Before we end the show, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google, Apple Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Everything. Also, tweet us at ABG_everything. Hit us up on IG at ABG_everything. And like our All Burgundy and Go Everything Facebook page. Hey, make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy and Go Everything YouTube channel as well. Also, subscribe to Lou's YouTube channel too, man. Just hit that red subscribe button and like this video. And also Lou's YouTube channel is also going to be on our description page, so make sure you click that and like his channel. Make sure also, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been a real dope show. We got an Emmy Award winner, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you know what time it is. We got an Emmy Award winner. That's how we doing it. You know what I'm saying? We don't just get it.
I appreciate the love, fellas. And again, I've told you, man, I'm so proud of you guys and the content that you're bringing, and all these platforms and people are using it to their advantage, but you guys are definitely ones to be watching, and I love the consistency and appreciate the invitation. It's always pleasurable coming on and talking football with you.
Hey Lou, you make it fun. You don't make it like football talk. You just make it flat out fun.
I just try to keep it real. You
do keep it real, man. You talking about certain receivers or whatnot. You keep as real as they come.
So Lou, when we hear you on the radio in the morning, I need to hear everything on the radio. We need the whole DMV to hear that now, bro.
Oh yeah. I'll remember that. I'm actually gonna put that in my notes. That you want me to say everything during my 3 things that you need to know on WPLC.
They need to know everything. They need to know everything. That's what they need to know.
There you go.
Oh man. Anyway, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Stadium, Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, for ages. You dig? Deuces. We out.